The Gilded Age returned this week with the first episode of the third season. And what this episode showed us were the core themes that are going to be explored in Season 3, particularly the almost oppressive society for anybody who doesn't fit the idyllic image of high society. With a trailer for the weeks ahead being released, I thought I'd break it down and also give my theories and predictions on what I think will happen with each of the characters that featured. Here is the Gilded Age Season 3, Episode 2 trailer explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The trailer opened with George and Bertha together. George said to her, "We were a love match, and we were happy." I'm imagining in this scenario, he's talking about the fact that Gladys wants to be with Billy through love, while Bertha wants Gladys to be with the Duke because of the status it will bring her. As per usual, it seems like George is on the side of his daughter and is looking out for her best interests. So, I imagine Gladys is going to end up getting two completely different pieces of advice from both parents, which might make her feel even more confused. George also said, "Why couldn't Gladys have had the same?" The past tense nature of this sentence makes me think Gladys is actually going to end up in an unhappy relationship with the Duke, and she won't get her happy ending with Billy. A shot of the Duke confirms that he'll be featuring prominently this season. There is also a line from Billy's mother, accompanied by a shot of Gladys and Billy together. "The children, what if they can't be stopped?" Bertha responded, "Well, as a rule, I'm the sort of person who always gets what she wants." We know Bertha wants her daughter to marry the Duke to elevate the family's position in high society. With Bertha saying that, and seeming completely unwilling to budge, I think her stubborn nature could end up costing her both her relationship with Gladys and the unity of her family. After this scene, George said to Bertha, "I wish I was convinced that what you want is right for Gladys." This shows that tension is building between the couple. I also imagine that if the bank goes under, as George feared while in Arizona, they'll face financial pressure, making Bertha push even harder for the marriage to the Duke. She responded, "I'm building her the position that will make her the envy of every woman living." This shows that although Bertha has her daughter's future in mind, she's ignoring her daughter's feelings and is forcing her into a marriage for the sake of appearances. A telling line in the trailer was when Mrs. Fish said to Bertha, "If she did marry the Duke, what would your title be?" This highlights that Bertha's motivations may be more about personal gain than her daughter's happiness. We then cut to Larry Russell and Marian in the woods. They're still not showing affection in public and are continuing their relationship in secret. Ada later says to Marian, "Young Mr. Russell seems very taken with you." Marian replies, "I'm cautious. Perhaps it's foolish to look for certainty in love." This fear is probably why they remain in the shadows. Marian might be afraid of what going public would do to both of them. This was contrasted with Charles and Aurora, where Charles says, "Our marriage is over." Aurora responds, "I'll be finished when the news gets out." Agnes later adds, "It would be easier for you if you were dead." This raises the possibility that Aurora might consider killing Charles and making it look like an accident. That way, she could preserve her social position as a widow rather than suffer the shame of divorce. The trailer then focuses on Peggy, who appears to have a new love interest, suggesting she'll recover from the illness the doctor refused to treat in Episode 1. We also saw Mr. Scott being disrespected due to his former enslavement, unlike the others in the room. This could lead to an identity crisis as he struggles to find a place in society. George Russell is later seen saying, "I have a vision." He speaks of a railway project that will change the country. But someone counters that it will cost more money than George has. This is possibly where Larry and Jack's clock business comes into play. I suspect George might pressure Larry to sideline Jack, so that Larry can divert funds to his father's project. This would mean Larry joins George in business, a theory I hope is wrong, since Larry seems like the most morally pure member of the Russell family. Alternatively, George might try to get the Duke on board financially. We saw a scene with lawyers and Bertha saying, "Things will only get worse unless you bring Hector around." The Duke may offer funding in exchange for marrying Gladys, putting George in a difficult position. Oscar then says, "I lost it all," referring to his fortune. John Adams asks him why he didn't come sooner and says, "I'd do anything for you." A romantic relationship between the two could blossom, with John helping Oscar out of his rut. It also looks like Mr. Fortune, Peggy, and her new love interest could form a love triangle, leaving Peggy in emotional turmoil, possibly explaining the shot of her crying on the stairs. Conflict in the Van Ryn household will also intensify. Mr. Bannister asks Agnes and Marian, who is in charge of the house now? After Oscar lost everything, Ada took over. Agnes, who has never been second in command, will find this hard to accept. Ada says, I suppose I'm no match for you when it comes to wielding authority. Expect this to strain their relationship further. Agnes also tells Oscar, success and money doesn't bring happiness. To which he replies that he wants to find out for himself, relating to the clock business he's now in with Larry. Another powerful visual was the Duke holding Bertha's hand instead of Gladys's. This highlights that the marriage is really for Bertha's social gain. The gossip that would stir if Bertha is seen with the Duke is likely her driving force. There's also a scene of people searching for Gladys, likely after she ran away at the end of episode 1. George says, this mess is of your making, suggesting Bertha may push Gladys so far that she runs away with Billy. Bertha is also heard saying, winning in business and winning in society are linked. This suggests she might worry that George's business failure could lower her social standing, which could increase her desperation to secure the Duke. George also questions whether the man he's doing business with has been honest, implying trouble ahead for their Arizona venture. Final thoughts. The trailer ended by emphasizing that ambition, money, social standing, and the cost of preserving appearances will remain central to the season. It's shaping up to be a richly layered and dramatic continuation of the series. Outro. So there you have it. The Gilded Age Season 3 Episode 2 trailer explained. If you want a full breakdown of Episode 1, check the video below. I'll be covering every episode this season, so be sure to come back. What do you think will happen next? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.